interesting.
This is.
I have a groovy guitar dude.
Hey guys.
And the guitar goddess set. I don't have a surfboard, I'm sorry.
I thought about it, but it just seemed,
Was it either the guitar or the surfboard?
It was the guitar or the surfboard, and the guitar made a lot more sense.
We kind of have the same guitar going on here.
Yeah, exact same guitar.
And we also happen to both be Swifties.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna be knocking out Blank Space today.
Yep.
We have a little treat for you guys because you guys have been heavily requesting the Grammy Museum version.
Yes.
We're gonna go ahead and hop into close-up for the chords that you're gonna need for the Grammy version. You're gonna wanna be capoed here on the 6th fret. We're tuned to standard, and let's check out the chords.
Yeah. Hey, okay.
All right, so our first chord up is a G major. And then from here, just keep your bottom 2 fingers anchored because we're actually going to use that to make our E minor 7. So it's basically just making like an E minor, except you have these 2 fingers anchored here. Sounds nice and bright and beautiful. And then from here, we're actually going to make a C add 9. So just go ahead and shift these 2 fingers just like this. And then you're going to pick from your 5th string on down. And then we're going to make a D sus 4. So again, keep these 2 fingers anchored. This makes these transitions so easy. And then you would just basically strum down like you were making a D major. And then our final chord, this is going to be the only differing variable here, is our A minor. All right, so now that we got our chords on the way, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our strumming pattern. So this is really just one consistent pattern that we have throughout the entire song. So with the G major, it's like a down, up, mute, down, up, mute, down, down. Yeah. Just like that. To focus more in on it, go ahead and just mute your strings just like this so they're dead. And this is just a great way to really focus in on one thing so you're not worrying about chords and transitions and all of that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and just go down, up, mute, down, up, mute, down, down. So you're coming back with the side of your palm and you're gonna hit down on the guitar, and that's what gives it that cool like percussive vibe. It's a lot of fun. It's groovy, right?
It is a groovy. Throw up the groovy counter.
So we'll go ahead and we'll go through it kind of slow and we'll pick it up. So we got like down, up, mute, down, up, mute, down, down. Just jump in with us.
Yep.
I love just sitting and like doing this kind of like percussive stuff.
Yeah. It's great practice.
It really is. And I feel like it allows you to kind of get to know your guitar a little bit better too, like the sounds you can get out of it and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a good way to get comfortable and just really get a vibe for a song, because a lot of times rhythm is one of those hard things. I lost it because I was
noticed
talking.
I was like seeing how long you can go and how long I can go, because we were talking about how we have this thing where it's hard to like play and talk at the same time.
It's so hard.
Which Taylor's really good at.
She is. She's so good at that.
Amazing.
Muting up your strings, just like Guitar House was talking about, muting up your strings like that and just jamming, it helps you get the rhythm of a song down really well, because
really
that's
does.
a lot of times in the beginning a part that's very, very difficult to get, is just to develop that natural rhythm.
I feel like as you grow as a guitarist, you start to get a little bit more intuitive with your strumming, and Taylor's a very intuitive strummer. If you notice, it's not like she has like specific strumming patterns just like planned out, like I'm going to do this for the verse and for the chorus. I think she has like kind of a thing that's mapped out in her head, but then I notice sometimes she changes it up, and like when she does like transitions to different chords, it changes, and you feel the music, especially when it's live. I think that's what makes the live performances the best, because it's not like this static, consistent thing that you're trying to perfect in the studio. I don't like to call them flaws. It's like these little gems, these little like things that come out in your playing that are just natural, and that's what makes a raw performance just so captivating, I think.
Absolutely. So now that we have our strum pattern down, the first thing that we're going to dive into is our verse chord progression, because that's the first thing that we hear in the song. So the chord progression we're going to be using for verse is this. We're going to have G, E minor 7, C add 9, and we're going to have that D sus 4. And we're going to repeat that throughout all of our verses. Now, there's a cool little thing that Taylor does, and this is one of those little variables that we were talking about, where she changes things up a little bit, and you'll hear it in the beginning of the song if you're familiar with the Grammy performance. And using the same strum pattern that we just went over again through the entire song, what she'll do is when she starts with that G chord, she'll actually take this finger right here, her pointer finger, and put it on 2nd fret of the low E string, and leave that 3rd fret open. What we're gonna do is our first down strum, we're gonna hit that down strum, and then we're gonna hammer on into our G chord with our first strum. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay, I like
just
that.
like that.
So right now we're gonna go ahead and run through a little bit of the verse. So we're gonna go ahead and start on our G major, and we use the pattern that we just went over.
Yep.
Nice to meet you, baby. I can show you incredible magic, madness, and sin. Saw you there and I thought, my God, that face looked like Xmas Day was a game of play.
Sounded great. And you probably guys noticed that I was doing that little hammer-on thing in the beginning, and Michelle wasn't. That's totally optional. It's totally up to you guys. You can just run through the chords. You don't have to do that ad-libbing stuff if you're a beginner. I would recommend just running through the chords and focusing on that. And then if you want to add that in once you have that down pretty well, that's something you can kind of add to just give it a little extra flavor.
All right, so for our chorus progression, we actually have 2 different progressions in this one.
But it's easier than it sounds.
Yes.
Don't freak out.
Yeah, so the first one you actually already know. It's the verse progression. So from our G major to our E minor 7 to the C add 9 to the D sus 4. That's the first part. Now the second part is going to go back to G major again, then back to the E minor 7, very familiar. Now the last 2 chords is where it's going to change. So it's going to go to A minor, and then you're going to hold on to the C add 9 until the end where she's like, and I'll write your name.
Yep.
So that is how the chorus is going to flow together. So we'll go ahead and we'll play it through real quick for you guys. So it's going to be forever, or it's going to go down in flames. You can tell me what's over, if the high was worth the pain. Got a long list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. 'Cause you know I love the players, and you love the game. 'Cause we're young and reckless, we'll take this way too far. It'll leave you breathless, oh, with a nasty scar. Got a long list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. I got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. And if you notice that for most of the chords, the pattern actually repeats twice.
It does. So from there, guys, the only other thing that we need to know to play this song is what's being played for the bridge. And for the bridge, it's very, very simple. And we have kind of a couple options. But what she's actually doing in the live version is she is just holding out on a G chord and playing through our strum pattern. Now, the optional thing that you can do with this is you can actually run through our verse chord progression as well for this and follow kind of what she's singing with the lyrics, follow the melody of this. What she actually does is do the G chord, so that's what we're going to focus on, but you do have that option if you would prefer to run through the chords that we used in verse, and they'll fit perfectly. So, just a little walkthrough. You guys probably kind of already have an idea, but just a G chord with that strum pattern, this is kind of what we're looking at. Straight into the chorus from there, and then that last chorus there takes us out of the song.
So I think the only thing that we have left to do is play through the entire song.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4.
Nice to meet you where you've been. I can show you incredible things. Magic, madness, heaven sins. Saw you there and I thought, my God, that face looked like a mistake. It's a game.
just like a daydream.
It's going forever, or it's gonna go down in flames. You can tell me when it's over, if the high was worth the pain. Got a long list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. 'Cause you know I love the players, and you will love the game. 'Cause we're young and reckless, we'll take this way too far. It'll leave you breathless, or with a nasty scar. Got a long list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. I got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. Boys only want love if it's torture. Don't say I didn't warn you. Boys only want love if it's torture. Don't say I didn't warn ya. It's gonna be forever, or it's gonna go down in flames. You can tell me when it's over, if the high was worth the pain. Got a long list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. 'Cause you know I love the players, and you love the game. 'Cause we're young and reckless, we'll take this way too far. It'll leave you breathless, or with a nasty scar. Got a long list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. I got a blank space, baby,
And I'll write your name.
I definitely tried to remember all the quirky, fun lyrics and,
Yeah.
and do the strumming, but just
No.
during those parts, if you go back and rewind, just pay attention to where Cody just like led the way. He led us to victory today. So
tried.
everybody, just like give a round of applause to Cody because honestly,
Michelle for holding it down with the lyrics so we can follow along.
I tried.
Yeah,
I
you
definitely
killed it.
tried. Thank you. But yeah, that is how you play the Grammy Museum version of Blank Space. Definitely go check out Cody's channel. It's Groovy Guitar Dude. I'm gonna link it down below. I'll probably put it somewhere on the screen, wherever the little circle fits. I can cover your face with it maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll kind of see
Frame it
how
up.
it goes. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See y'all soon.
Bye. If it's torture, don't say I didn't.
Say I didn't warn you.
There you go.